Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Friday, February 7th, 2025. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we talked the other day, about starting up a new business. And a couple of you were saying that the biggest fear you should have is getting too much work. And I guess that, like Jason said, or you said, Jason, is location, location, location. Because we didn't have that, and we still don't have that. We have to put in our time to get every customer, retain every customer while we're adding new customers, right? And during the past 4 years, we've seen a sharp drop in our customer base. And I've kind of put it to disposable income. A lot of guys like to blame YouTube because YouTube is showing people how to do it. I don't have any problem with that, mainly because if people are trying to decide whether to bring it to me or go get groceries, I want them to go get groceries. I'll always land on my feet no matter what, as you can see with the quadruple heart bypass. There will be a day I won't, but up until now, I've always figured things out. So I thought today we'd do along those lines. So hang tight. Alrighty, welcome back. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. And yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, February 7th, 2025. So what are we talking about? Well, I'm talking about how to go about getting more customers. And if you're in an area of where you open a shop and you're inundated with customers, all the power to you. But that's not the case where we're at. Where our business is. We have two other shops within a 30-mile radius, and they're more geared in town. They're both floor planning, and they're probably going to get the most visibility from driving by their location, right? Whereas we're out in the rural part of the area, and we don't get a lot of traffic driving through, and we don't do any floor planning, and we don't do a lot of retail sales anymore. I've kind of taken the inventory down to where I'm comfortable, and not, if I have to close the doors today, have an auction, what have you, I'll end up ahead very easily, even on a bad auction day. Because if you have an auction, you're not going to get what you bought it for, right? You're going to get way down, probably half wholesale, half of what you paid for it. So if you bought 10 things of rope at $5 a thing for the rope, that's $50. You're going to be lucky if they can get 25 at an auction. Now, I've seen auctions where people have gone crazy and given $10 a rope at an auction when you're selling it, or we're selling it, for $7. And that's for people that aren't aware of what current prices are, right? So if you're in that position of wanting to find more customers, how do you do it? I mean, if you're in town and people are driving by your establishment and they haven't stopped in to see you, the question would be why? Because I'll tell you, a lot of times it's because Joe Schmo didn't like how the deal went or something, and is telling everybody in town that you screwed them. That could be one possibility. The other is They don't know you. You're an unknown. And I'll be honest with you, it's hard to get people to come into an unknown, what's the right word? Situation, unknown situation, because they're worried about what could take place. Because I'll tell you right now, most people in general worry about being taken advantage of because they've heard all the horror stories, right? And that is getting charged more than what it costs to go replace it. It's a lot of it is attitude of the owner and the staff and how well they treated their customers. I've seen shops that didn't have any camaraderie with their patients, with their customers. It was simply, we're here, drop your lawnmower off, we can pick your lawnmower up. We'll give you a call when it's ready. It's ready. Here's the bill. Please come pay your bill and pick up your unit, or pay your bill before we drop it off. That's the gist of it. That's not us. And if you're doing that and it's working for you, then again, all the power to you. But for the most part, it's a turnoff. Customers want to be treated well. They want to be informed to a certain point. And they definitely want to be informed before you start piling on stuff that's going to make it so they could have bought it brand new for less money. But let's say you're out in the rural part of the area. Or we could say you're in town and rural, because a lot of it applies the same way. The best advertising you'll ever get is word of mouth. And that's by taking care of your customers. You're always going to have that one customer, no matter what you do, they're not going to be happy. And they would be the first one to run and post a review on Google of how they feel like they were taken advantage of. See, that's the key. It's how they feel. It's not the truth that we're talking about. It's about how the customer feels about the interaction they had with you. A lot of times, if the interaction was, very friendly, introducing yourself when the customer shows up, gaining trust, earning that trust by letting the customer know as you're progressing, if you do run into something that needs to be addressed, and the cost and what your take is on it. You've heard me say that when it comes to my shop, we won't put a dime more into a customer's machine than we would our own. And that means a lot, It means a lot to me, and it also means a lot to the customer that I'm going to take care of them as well as I would my own self. And if it starts getting where I'm looking at, okay, to fix this and fix it right is going to cost $1,200-$1,500. Let's just use that and they can go buy a brand new one for $15 to $18. I would be encouraging them, do you really want to fix this old one? You're almost within a couple hundred of getting a brand new one. It comes with a warranty, but a lot of shops aren't like that. They just go ahead and do the work. And maybe this is you, of where you just go ahead and do the work and the bill is what it is. And then when the customer sees the bill, they're irate. They're not happy. Because one, you didn't treat them well, and two, you weren't looking out for them. You were looking out after your business. And there's nothing wrong about looking out after your business, but I can tell you right now, If you don't have a customer coming through that door, you're not looking out after your business. So you need to take care of your customers the right way in order to stay in business. Unless you're in an area where there's 30, 40,000 people and it's not going to hurt you to lose one of your regular customers. Because I'm telling you right now, bad news travels fast. Good news is a harder sell. A lot of times what I find is if somebody's talking about having problems with their lawnmower, one of our customers is around, they'll say, go see Eric. He'll take care of you, and if it's more than what he feels is worth to fix it, he'll be the first one to call you, he or Claude, and explain exactly what we found. Now, if it gets dropped off and it's just a normal service, I don't make any calls because we're doing the basics, and it may need belts, blades, but those are everyday expenses, all right? But if somebody brings a POS, you know what that is, a piece of, and it's 20 years old and the cowl's missing because they ran over it or something, and they want you to do a service on it, and you're looking at it and you're wondering, did they steal that out of your boneyard? I mean, I'm serious. I've seen them come in and just, you do a double take on it. But I know, like with our shop right now, we're looking to start cranking, or at least start getting more work than we're getting right now, right? Because we finally finished up the last customer Monday, and now we're working on my stuff, which, don't get me wrong, it's still worth it to pay Claude to do my stuff. Because if it had to be done in somebody else's shop, it would be a whole heck of a lot more expensive. And the nice thing with Claude is I'm learning too, because a lot of times it takes two of us. I'm limited to what I can do. I always tell him, I'll come out and give you moral support. So my job is, if we don't have a lot of work or we've caught up, my job is to make sure we have more work, right? And we're working on a guy's plow truck. We got it going for him. Thrilled, he plowed everybody out. Went to use it a week later, and now it won't do anything again. So we got to get that over to the shop. But other than that, it's pretty quiet. So what I do to try to get more work is, like on my Facebook page, I ask my friends and acquaintances that are on my Facebook page that are local, if you happen to hear of someone needing lawnmower or small tractor repairs, could you please, recommend us? And I'm only asking that to the people that really think that we're a good recommendation. And I hope that's everybody. I mean, you can't please everybody all the time, but in business, you need to please the majority most of the time. Because if not, they'll start dropping off and they'll go to wherever they feel like they're being valued. And valued isn't just dollars and cents. It's valued as a customer in general. That you're not talking down to them, you're not talking robotic to them, and you're not willing to explain the bill because you feel like it's a slight on you somehow of having to explain why the bill is the way it is. See, Claude used to take that in a negative way in the beginning. And I explained to him, I said, don't. Well, I shouldn't have to tell them what I did I'm like, yeah, you do. I have customers that come through the door, and you probably do too, that don't care about anything you did. It's what's the bill, and I'll pay it, and thank you, and have a good summer. I have other customers that want to know what you've done and kind of explain the bill a little bit out, but they're paying the bill. They're usually writing the check while they're talking with you. And then I've had other customers that wanted a line by line by line, and that drives Claude nuts. Of why should I have to explain every step that I did? Because they're paying us to know every step you did. And those guys are usually the ones that know just enough to get themselves into trouble, but also know just enough to know how long it takes to do an oil change or take the blades and sharpen them, what have you. So you get different levels of customers coming through the door. So what I'm doing right now is I've asked my core group on Facebook, I think it's 390 some friends. And I also belong to Facebook groups and everything from antique tractors to farm to, and I posted in every one of those that we're still doing the small tractors, the older ones. And if you need anything from a basic service to a clutch replacement to hydraulic issues, please give us a call. I've already had 3 people ask if it's still available, and they can't afford it right at this minute. But I know what they're doing because I've seen it happen before. And they're just place marking it so they can find it again in their messages. Because a lot of times on Facebook groups, you see a post of something for sale and then you go back and try to find it and you can't find it. But if you post, is it still available, you can find it through your messages. And that's where we get a lot of people to start lining up customers this summer for the winter. And they've got their father's or grandfather's tractor that needs a clutch or what have you. And it could be somebody that needs to have their tractor fixed but is waiting for their income tax money to come back before committing with you to get their stuff in. Now, doing ads on Facebook Marketplace is against Facebook's policy and procedure. And that you can get in trouble for that. They'll reject it. But it doesn't say that you can't post it in those groups, if you know what I'm saying. And that's just simply opening up the group. And what I do is I ask the admin, the one that's controlling what posts can be seen and what can't, is it okay to post a little blib that we're looking for work? And I'll tell you, most of them are very receptive if you ask them. They'll say, go ahead and I'll approve it. If you try to spam the groups, they'll probably kick you out. But they want to help you too. And they also want to help the people that are part of that group that may need a clutch job. And we've driven, like for tractors, we've driven an hour and a half away to pick up somebody's grandfather's tractor that they want put back in original condition. They want it painted, decaled, and then bring it back to me. But those people are willing to pay because trying to find someone with a caliber like Claude is getting harder every day. And we're losing a lot of these older mechanics. And no one is taking over for them. Nobody is learning how to fix tractors. All the younger generation right now are learning they have to plug a computer in to tell them what part to replace or where to start. They aren't being taught to listen to the engine, to do a compression check. All these things at old school. But that's one place that I posted, is in the groups that were farm related. And then the garage sale groups that were local, You got to make sure they're within driving distance of you. Tractors, you can stretch out a little farther. But lawnmowers, no. They're not going to drive 50 miles to drop off a lawnmower. And see, we used to have free pickup and drop off, and we started losing our ass because we were going out an hour away. And you just can't do that unless your trailer's loaded and you can bill it over, let's say, 10 units. But lately, the case in the last couple of years is like 2 units way out there. And so we started charging a pickup and drop off fee if need be. And actually, it's cheaper for our customers to go to Tractor Supply, rent a trailer for the day, bring it to us, drop it off, take the trailer back, and then run it again to come get it versus having us, because you're paying for time, a driver, and a lot of times pickups we both go, even though I can't help him much. So that's one place, is you're bypassing marketplace, but you're posting it in groups of where there's a good chance that somebody needs work done. And that can be in your lawnmower groups. You know, the ones I belong to, they're more of posting videos and pictures of, here it is, what's wrong with it, you know, versus trying to get work in the shop. But I'm going to start wrapping this up. But the key so far is everything I've talked about doesn't cost you anything but your time, right? To get out there and advertise. Facebook Marketplace, you can have your ad show up in front of people within a 20-mile radius, 10-mile radius, what have you, but you're going to pay for it. And we've tried it 2, maybe 3 times and didn't see a return on our investment. And I can tell you, the first time I think we spent $1,500, and we might have got one customer, and they came in to buy a set of lawnmower blades at $10 or $12 a piece. So I mean, you're not getting a good return on your investment. The second time I tried it with Farm Tractor Repair, and it was crickets. So we discontinued that. I think with your Google ads and your Facebook ads, if you have somebody that does it all the time, they may be able to get you a better result possible. Putting it into local newspapers and stuff, what I find is most people this day and age are not picking up physical newspapers or penny pinchers or what have penny savers. It's all done online now. So if you can find some online magazines or online postings of where, like the penny saver, you can post an ad there, but they normally charge you to put it on their site, plus they're putting it in their weekly or bi-weekly printed, like a newspaper, with your ad listed. And you pay more if it's bold. If you twice the size of a normal ad, you know, it goes on and on. You can eat up a lot of money in a hurry. Most people are looking online for their information. So the other place that, if you haven't done it or haven't finished it, is your Google account for your business. And that's location, hours, what you do. Posting, updating things on a regular basis helps a lot with Google. And when people are looking for lawnmower repair, our business comes up within Google if you're in the local area, along with the other 2 shops, which is fine. But that doesn't cost you anything. Now, if you want to do Google ads, that costs you money. And we've done that before and not turned out well. Again, it may be because I didn't know the right way to go about it. And There's tons of people out there that you can hire to do it for you, but so far, I haven't found anybody that can do it better than me, other than collect the money and get a short burst of maybe views, but that's it. It's nothing longevity that it continues to grow. So on that note, what are ideas that you have for getting more customers through the door? One of the things that we haven't touched on, but I have in other videos, is doing service specials, spring of the year, for the early birds, 10% off, 20% off. Everybody likes the deal. You can do the same thing. So you guys enjoy your Friday. I know most of you, this is the end of the work week and you're looking forward to the weekend. Right now it is whiteout conditions. We have gone from 17 below zero 2 mornings ago to right around 28 degrees right now, and you can't see 10 foot. I let the dogs out at 3:30 this morning, and you couldn't. They come in all white, just running down to go pee and coming back in. But you guys have a great Friday and a great weekend if I don't catch up with you before then.